If you've been putting off learning to code because it may seem hard or intimidating, I'm gonna have to stop you right there because in 2025, it's actually never been easier to learn code. And I'm gonna explain why in this video. From the resources to tools and how the industry has evolved as a whole. I'm gonna get to that in this video, so let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so let me introduce myself. My name's Azo. I've been coding for over 10 years. I've held different software and tech industry roles and responsibilities. So I know a little thing about code and learning to code. So let's go ahead and get into the first reason why it has never been easier to learn coding. So the first part of why it's so easy to start on your coding journey is actually there's so many really good learning platforms that are free. A lot of things when I was coming up were paid if you wanted something really good. Otherwise, you would have to do a lot of, Googling and a lot of just basically going the old textbook way or going and reading forums for hours just to try to troubleshoot something. But now with these platforms, it's kind of gamified learning. So that way you're getting instant feedback when you are right or wrong, and you're able to actually get personalized lessons that tailor specifically what you're trying to do. Back when I was starting, there was no full stack AI machine learning roadmaps and interactive programs that would kind of take you through those routes and kind of teach you in a very tailored way. It was more just by trial and error. So some of these platforms are Code Academy, LeetCode, and things like Free Code Camp that are really good resources for you to get started learning in a very structured way, but also a good and entertaining, interesting, gamified way. So another reason why it's become so easy to code is debugging has become 10 times easier due to the advancements in AI. ChatGPT or things like GitHub Copilot can suggest the correct code, but can also explain to you as if you're one-on-one with like a mentor or a senior developer on what's going wrong and why things are happening the way they are. And just in a split second, you can learn what an error means and how to correct it to basically, I wouldn't say never run into that problem again, but be able to troubleshoot faster and learn really quickly. Back when I was coming up, there was just Google, good old Stack Overflow, which was obviously never tailored to your specific problem. It was always something you had to kind of connect the dots and understand, even if it was in like Java and I was programming in, well, C# is kind of the same thing, but if I was programming in another language, but Ruby, I would have to kind of translate it over and try to see how to fix the thing in a different syntax or whatever. But nowadays you can literally plug in your code and plug in your error to the AI, and it will give you a very comprehensive answer or solution and explanation on what's going on. And if you're using it correctly, you can kind of get it to explain it to you in kind of like any way you want. If the way it's explaining is kind of too complex, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. And you can do things like that kind of even tailor your learning with AI assisted debugging. AI isn't replacing programmers by any means, in my purest opinion, but it is definitely like supercharging programmers' efficiency and the ability to kind of debug, write code so much faster so they can focus on bigger, better things like system design and architecture and things like that. So another reason why it is so easy to learn code in 2025 is that there are abundance of resources. There are so many YouTube tutorials that will tell you not only how to learn a language, but how to do specific things like how to create an API, how to create a website, how to create a server, how to create a compiler. There are so many different just tutorials on YouTube on how to do these tasks. And then you have other things like free coding boot camps, and you have open source projects that have been done, and you can look at source code and all these different things. There is an abundance because of the advancements in things like AI and resources, and you're able to learn faster through other people's mistakes and through other people's experiences a lot faster than you were able to do 10 years ago when I started. So this is a very good thing, and you can learn a lot from joining a good community and using the community as a resource too, and pulling all those brains together to just supercharge your learning in your coding journey. Another reason why it is so much easier is that there are tons of libraries that are out there that you don't have to reinvent the wheel and you don't have to start from scratch. You can literally do a little bit of research on different types of frameworks or libraries. I've been working recently in Django, and it is a complex framework compared to the others, but it has a lot of stuff that's built in. You just kind of got to focus on learning that framework rather than having to build every single thing from scratch. Things like React, TensorFlow, or JavaScript and TensorFlow, or AI and machine learning, and doing those types of things. It's really become a lot easier nowadays to go ahead and basically whip up whatever you want with all these different resources. So this one, I actually have a tip for beginners, and it's actually, you don't need to be a programming wizard anymore, where like program was this, on a pedestal type of career or position that a lot of people thought you had to be a genius to do these things. But now in the tech field, I feel like where it's going to go, or where it is starting to go, is obviously coding is the basic, tool that you'll be using on a day-to-day, but it's kind of evolved to where if you can get an assistant, aka AI, to write the code, only thing you really have to know very well and really be skilled at is things like architecture. If you're going into data analytics, it's going to be things like knowing your business, knowing your business area, and if you work in marketing, knowing what kind of things you can do in that data analytics space and knowing that domain, and you can just let the AI write the code. It's the same thing as having an assistant. I will offload setting up meetings, doing all that type of stuff that I don't need, making appointments, all of that. I'm going to offload that to the assistant. Why? Could I do it? Sure. That's going to take up my time when I can be dealing with other clients, being in the room with them and doing those types of things, while my assistant essentially does the manual work. It's just going to be the same thing with software engineers, and software engineers can really focus on the bigger picture and making that happen and using AI to execute the nitty-gritty manual task of actually coding it. So if you've been hesitating to start coding, now's the time. 2025 is the year and the time. You have all the tools, all the resources. AI is basically like a built-in mentor that you can access at any time, ask it any question, and get the answer in any way that you need it to be explained. So it's never been easier than 2025. So go ahead and leave me a comment. Tell me if you're getting started. Let me know if there is something else that is stopping you that I didn't address here. But go ahead and like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I will see y'all in the next one.